Hey everybody, my name is Mike, and I'm not a real musician. I am not a classical guitarist, and I do not have a degree in music. I do, however, have an opinion. So here it is. Metal's cringe. I love it. Many other people don't, and we'll talk about why that is in another video. Today, we'll talk about what's probably my favorite genre. So why do I find it so utterly goofy? There's these themes of violence and assault, both verbal and physical, which I think just really diminishes what those actually are, and it I think Joe Rogan called it like turning, people think of violence as this like ethereal thing because it's never happened to them, or no real physical harm has come to people in their real life, like seeing somebody get mangled. um and I have seen that, and it's like I don't know, maybe it changes you or something, but if you have seen that stuff and you're still talking about it, I don't know. It's like the internet, movies and music, obviously, but social media, gore posters on 4chan, stuff like this. It's not edgy or cool. Like, you look like a dork, honestly. Um, if you if you're not actually doing this stuff, which most of you aren't, uh, it's just gross. If you think about what's really happens in the world with violence, and the music is a redeeming quality there. That's kind of what keeps me around. It's just like, I love the music, and I love the people. Unless you're serious about this, and if you're serious about doing this, get some help. This is not a good thought to have. This is like the bad thoughts. You need to bury that down deep down inside and never bring it up again. Uh, so it's horror, but it's for the wrong reasons. Like, it's supposed to be horror themed music. I think, is sort of like the genre of horror movies. And there's real things to be afraid of in life, and to that cause real horror. And if that's the theme, you can use that. But I really, I feel like people should just think about it more, and kind of come down to earth and see things for what they are. Maybe write about things that we should be afraid of, like banks and politicians and failure, inadequacy, right? Like lack of motivation, lack of God in your life. Uh, there's deep philosophical questions that can be asked, and life and death situations, and there's so many points that can be made, dialectics that could be had to make your point, to say what you're trying to say, both musically and philosophically. Like, who are you? What's your identity? Tell me what it is, and what actually scares you. Tell me. Tell a story. Uh, Dead to Fall. Dead to Fall had this song called Major Rager, and in the lyrics it talks about sitting in your room and doing some horrific and brutal stuff you're never going to do. A band I was in called How to Speak San Franciscan, we had a song about that as well, sort of inspired by Dead to Fall, excuse me. And it was called Chesta. um, Even back then, I think this was in like 2009, I was just, I thought that all the bleeding bloody blood stuff was just wasn't cool. And back then it wasn't even really about what I'm saying now, about how violence is a real thing, and maybe you shouldn't talk about it in the way that you do, or at least think about not doing that. um so you figure out where the line is. Like, this is just my opinion. Write about whatever you want, and I'll probably still listen to the music, but I might think that you're a freaking goober, and that you don't have any real life experience involving the things that you're talking about. um So another thing is that it could inspire real violence. Um, I've watched some videos that, where the experts say that that's not true. So take that with a grain of salt. We trust the experts or don't. That's up to you. Uh, and so, violence is just never a good thing. In self-defense, okay. You should be able to do violence, in my opinion, in order to protect yourself and the ones that you love. Um, but you shouldn't want to do violence, like do no harm. Um, the non-aggression principle is something that maybe you can look into. Um, let me know in the comments. Like this is just what I think, and especially to women and children. Women and children, when violence or harm comes to them, that's like the worst possible thing that could ever happen. So it's like even in band names and song lyrics and titles and artwork. I mean, it's just so horrific what's depicted, and people think it's funny, and maybe I'm like a old angry old man yells at cloud, but the there are people that I think sort of saw this and made their music to where it was like another level of horror, right? They chose different subject matter. So shout out to Born of Osiris and the Faceless and all these like Egypt and occult and alien sort of horror themed stuff. Yeah, the Heart Machine, Osiris, with I-E-Y-E, so it's Oseyeurus. I'm gonna make a video about this guy soon. Joey is the artist here, and he does like rap and slam crossover, like hip hop slam crossover, trap stuff, and it's like it's really good. So I'm gonna do a review of a song that he did called "Aim for the." It's "Aim for the Face," I think. Don't correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Also, yeah, like Slam Worldwide posts a lot of stuff. Peeling the Flesh is another band that does this like hip hop slam crossover. Um, but yeah, getting back to the rest of the video here. All right, I'm gonna have to cut that out. Shout out to Born of Osiris, the Faceless. So shout out to Born of Osiris and the Faceless and Heart Machine, Osiris, Joey. I'm gonna do a video on your work, and I hope to work with you. It's gonna be fun. Slam Worldwide, go subscribe to those guys if you want to hear like some slam music that's coming out. I still love all this stuff. This is, like I said, this is probably my favorite genre next to classical. I love most styles of music, but metal's just so close to my heart, and that's why I'd love to see it change and be the change that I want to see. So if you like this type of content, please share it and like and subscribe for more guitar related content. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments.